Hello, welcome to Talkin Kop. It is finished. Liverpool Football Club 2, Manchester City 0. Liverpool are now 9 points clear at the top of the table. They are 11 points clear of Manchester City. We haven't played anyone. We were going to get battered because we were playing Real Madrid and Man City the same week. We've won an aggregate of 4-0. We've got injuries. What more could you want? It's me, Chris Brack, and it's Ashley. Kev will be joining us, but he's making a dramatic entrance because, Kev likes to do that. Ashley, easy this league lark, isn't it?
I mean, this was our hard run, right? Or, I think, have we played anyone yet?
Doesn't count yet. They've got injuries, doesn't count.
Shoot, okay. Well, we'll just have to keep going then. Can we keep playing this way and keep playing teams that are injured? I don't mind.
Yeah, and you said German champions beat them 4-0, Spanish champions 2-0, English champions 2-0. We can safely say we've played someone, depending who you speak to. So
still haven't played anyone above us. So
there is that. But we are top of all the leagues. If there's a league, Liverpool are top of it. It's grand. Here he is. It's Big Sam Kev making his dramatic entrance.
Hey guys, you all right?
Not so bad. Did you enjoy that, Kev? Were you just composing yourself?
No, mate. I literally had dog drama for the last couple of minutes. He demanded to go outside, and with the way my backyard is at the minute, it's a complete mud bath. I had to make sure that he was at least semi-clean before I locked him out of the room.
Was he excited over the win? Is that what it was? Couldn't hold it anymore.
He sat there for the entire second half in front of the telly, perched up, looking at the telly like that.
Hey, he knows a good thing when he sees it.
He knows when I'm quiet, and is like, let's just not rock the boat here. And that was like the entirety of the second half. Just don't rock the boat. Just be quiet and don't move. Don't change the channel. Don't turn the volume up or down.
Just freeze the dog.
Exactly. It was like nobody moves. One of them, but wow. I mean, wow. That's something else. That's today is something else.
Today, actually, you'd say that's better than the Real Madrid performance, I would say.
I mean, I think that they were both equally composed. I mean, I don't know. Beating Madrid was cathartic in a way. I mean, this was cathartic as well, but it's just been a fantastic week. I'm not going to pick. It's like picking between children. That was both two fantastic games.
Yeah, definitely. So let's go through the lineups, and then we'll do it. I've realised I've spelled Trent's name. I've put Taz. That could be Trent's new nickname.
Well,
we'll call him Taz now. So we had Keller in goal. We had Taz playing, whoever Taz is. Then we had Gomez came in at centre back. And then we had Van Dijk. Robbo was asked to go again, which we're probably all a little bit concerned about. Him doing 3 games in a week. Midfield, Gravenberch and McAllister. Szoboszlai came in for Jones, and then it was Salah, Gakpo, Diaz. Any surprises for you, Ash? No.
I think there was an argument to keep Jones in place, but I think, in hindsight, I think it was the right decision to play Szoboszlai. I wasn't surprised to see Diaz through the middle. I think that worked really well in this game. But I guess that was the other one that might have gone either way. But no, I was really happy with that lineup.
Yeah, I know, Kev, I know you were saying you thought Jones would start. Is possibly Szoboszlai because it's a bit of managing minutes because Jones hasn't actually finished the 90 minutes in the league yet. And with his injury record, maybe they're just horses for courses, swapping around because I think Jones and Szoboszlai between them have to do probably the most running.
Yeah, no, I mean, at the end of the day, I think the only surprise for me was Luis Diaz starting up front over Darwin. I thought it would be one or the other, Gakpo or Diaz. I didn't expect it to start all 3, but saying that, that's the front 3 I wanted to play. Purely simply because of the mobility that it offers, the pacing behind it offers, and the trickery 1v1, especially against that back line of Man City. They aren't the most mobile, especially if you can isolate them 1v1. And look, I mean, that 11 that went out today done a magnificent job, so you can't really complain about anything. But yeah, no, I was surprised. I was just surprised Darwin didn't start, but not going to lose my shit over it.
Not this early. Like still young.
Christ, no.
Give a chance. Got to be careful with back soon.
Not at the minute. No chance.
So then, actually, the City team dropped, and we got a whiff of one of the changes because it was getting leaked, which was Edison was dropped to the bench for Ortega. We had Kyle Walker, Ruben Diaz came back into them. Akanji and Ake, that was the back four. Midfield was Gundogan, Bernardo Silva, and Rico Lewis. We think that was a three easily. Bernardo could also have been able to ask to play wide. Phil Foden, Nunez, who's asked to play wide, and then Erling Haaland. Felt a bit of it felt like a side that was built to sit out for 60 and then go, if we get a goal, great. If not, we're happy to get 0-0 at 60. And then we're going to throw on the pace for the last half hour. It felt like the side built for, let's win it in the last 30.
It felt like we're going to try to pull a Nuno to me, where, they were going to stay in the game for the first 60 minutes or so. Then they'd bring the pace on out wide and kind of hope for a smash and grab at the end. Especially given the fact that they've kind of been on this long run, which is 7 games now without a win, which I think is a record for Pep.
6 losses and 1 draw.
Yeah,
not bad.
So I think what he was trying to do. Yes, there we go.
Yeah, we'll talk about Pep's 6 later because he definitely got rattled.
Yeah, he definitely got rattled. But yeah, I think he was just setting them up to not get beat at the beginning. I don't think that was a particularly dynamic midfield. But yeah, I don't know. I think the Ortega one is the one that I'm so glad it backfired. I'm so glad he gave away a pen, and it's just they're one of those like, it's like Pep doing his little I'm gonna outthink you thing and it backfiring. Yeah. I love when that happens.
I mean, to be fair, looking at some of the goals City have conceded, Edison's not covered himself in glory, has he, Kev? So to be honest, Ortega coming in actually felt sensible. The one that surprised me a little bit was I thought Guardiola would have played, because I know he's made a couple of mistakes, but I still think he's their most mobile defender, and he's their biggest goal threat for set pieces. Because I'm not going to cry it in for City, but I don't think Ake can run, and Akanji isn't far behind him. They don't.
I don't know if
both of them. Both of them didn't look fit. They just look like they're fit to play, but not any sort of sprints. That both of them were like having none of that. They weren't getting involved in sprints. Well, until the referee decided you can choke slam Mo Salah, it's okay.
Yeah, no, 2 of that back 4 were coming back from layoffs. That's Ruben Diaz's first game in a while. Nathan Ake, you're right. He just didn't look fit, didn't look right, didn't look anywhere near his normal self. When he's right,
good.
Yeah, when he's right, he can get up and down the line like anyone. Gvardiol is very good at that. He's a good defender, but he can get up and down, and he's a goal threat. That 11, to me, when you look at what options they had on the bench, that starting 11 makes absolutely no sense. And it got it didn't get what it deserved. That 11 didn't get what it deserved because we were not clinical in that first half. That 11 deserved to hide it. It got it on performance, but not on the scoreline. I mean, Nunez is not a winger. Lewis is not a midfielder. Gundogan, as brilliant a player as he was, and he was a world-class player, 4 years, he can't run. And Bernardo Silva is just a rat. You take away the fact that what he was able to do for the last 4 or 5 years, his ingenuity, his ability to pick passes and be able to float on either wing, he can't do that anymore. And to be fair, Kyle Walker, once you lose that yard of pace that he used to depend on to bail him out of the shit for being such a poor defender, once you lose the yard of pace, you get exposed as being a bang average right back. And that's all he is. That's what he is now. He's a bang average right back who can do a job, do a bit, but he offers you nothing going the other way. And, Ortega had to pull off some really good saves. And he saved City's blushes on that scoreline. They deserved a hiding for putting out that 11. They really did.
Yeah, so I don't hold much copy what Jamie Carragher says. He was saying Liverpool first half played Jurgen Klopp football. I think we need to get away from this as Jurgen Klopp football. This is how Klopp plays. So it's horses for courses. Certain games he knows, hit them early, hit them quick. And other games he's like, we'll just play into it and we'll take it. Liverpool realised how everybody else got goals against City early on. Like Tottenham, they've gone for the throat in the first 10, 15 minutes. So let's go for the throat and just see what they do. And actually, to be honest, before the goal, Liverpool probably should have had at least 2 before we actually scored. I mean, the Van Dijk header To which, to be fair, when you watch the replay back, it's a really good save by Ortega. He gets fingers to put it onto the post. Gakpo had his chances with a very odd save by Ortega. He's like palmed it back into the middle. But I think we were all messed between us. The only frustration I have in the first 10 minutes was going, just need to get a goal over on top here, because City will have a chance at some point, because Laura averages tell you teams get chances. And that was the only frustration you were having in the first 10 minutes, was like, how have we not scored?
Yeah. I mean, there was a, I don't know. It was the first 10 minutes just felt like, we're just going to go for the throat, which is refreshing. I mean, I feel like we've been so patient as a team recently, and to see them just absolutely go for the throat like that, that was fantastic. I mean, there was a Szoboszlai long range shot. There was Virgil that was off the post. I mean, Virgil had a few that he really should have put away. But yeah, it was just, the pressure was building, and it felt like we were suffocating them, and it felt like they had no time to gain a footing in the game whatsoever. And all my pundits were saying was like, who is this? Who is this City team that they don't even look like they look like a shadow of their former selves. That's how they looked in the first 15 minutes. And we made them look like that.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, Kev, when the goal comes, the switch from Trent, who's left side of centre mid, it's ridiculous pass into space. Mo Salah just takes Ake to the clears, and it's a precision cross. And Gakpo does what Gakpo does, which is back post tapping. It's either a bang from distance or a back post tapping. They're his two finishes. And what a week Gakpo's had. Scores against Real Madrid, scores against Man City, and it was no more than Liverpool deserved.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know what Trent was doing there. It's a weird position for him to be in, because for the overwhelming majority of the game, he was really disciplined and being in the right back position. Maybe it was just coming back in transition or something, and he was wandering across. That ball was ridiculous. The fade that he put on that, and the spin he put on it to hit the ground and for it to slow up. Then the cross from Mo is a joke. From that angle, that cross had absolutely no right to get to where it got to. But it's the best type of cross, because it's low, it's out of the keeper's reach. If it doesn't get the tap in, it might get a deflection. If it gets neither, it's got a really good chance of going in on its own. It was the perfect cross. And in fairness, the ball just bounces off Gakpo. In the end, he doesn't knock it in or tap it in. He literally lets it bounce off his shins, and in you go, 1-0. And it's exactly what we deserved, because we were completely, totally on top. And it wasn't the case that, I don't think we was helter-skelter or anything like that. It was really controlled. It was like we were pressing with like the striker and the three behind, and the two fullbacks pushing up. What we've been doing all season, nothing special, nothing spectacular. And we let them have the first pass out from the back and then swarm them. And we did it relentlessly for 25 minutes. And they had no answer to it, nothing. And it was just literally it was a matter of time. But the quality on that cross was unbelievable. It really was. It's unbelievable.
Yeah, unbelievable. Ashley, that first 15 minutes, the way Szoboszlai played the first 15 minutes remind me of early Klopp with Lallana.
Mm-hmm.
It was, I start the press, and that's probably why you started, because the two centre-backs and Gundogan didn't want any of that. And Gravenberch followed up, started to get a couple of sloppy yellows, but just after the goal, I think Gakpo catches Foden accidentally on the knee. So there's a bit of a delay of a couple of minutes, and you could see all City players pointing at each other, having a go at each other. You're supposed to be here, you're supposed to be there. And I was thinking, like, this is Liverpool we've seen a few years ago, where it's all going wrong. And they look like a side that's not relishing the fight, not relishing the challenge. Because look, like all those City, there's lots of things we don't like about them. Kev can reel a list off what we don't like about City. But they knew how to handle pressure, and they knew how to go to big away games and most times soak it up and accept, be humble, we're going to not have the ball. They just don't want any of that. They're not interested. And it's almost like they're quite surprised what's happening. And maybe it's a little bit of poor recruitment. And look, I've said it before and I'll say it again. I don't get the Rico Lewis thing. I think he's a decent fullback. I don't think he can do the inverted thing. I think he was hung out to dry playing centre mid, and I don't think that helps. But I think that's more on the manager.
Yeah, the Rico Lewis thing I think it's a separate issue. I don't know why Pep is trying to shoehorn him there. I think it might just be, he doesn't trust players. Yeah, he can run and he doesn't trust the other players. I think the interesting thing with City is that, in years gone by, when things very rarely didn't go their way, almost always things were going their way, and they were, the schoolyard bullies. And I think what you're seeing right now is what happens when their backs are against the wall, and it's like that requires a different kind of character. There's the character, where you're just steamrolling sides and, you're comfortable and you can continue that pressure. And City are very good at that. But when it comes to having your back against the wall, having to dig deep and having to find solutions in amongst yourselves, I don't think they have that. I don't know who the kind of grab the game by the scruff of the neck guy is in that team right now. In years gone by, it would have been, De Bruyne with a little bit of brilliance that would have done that. But I don't know who that is in this game. And I mean,
it used to be Kompany. I think they thought Diaz, they rate Diaz as that organizer, but I think Diaz was more worried about his own game because he's literally just come back from an injury.
Yeah.
I think there's too many hoping somebody else bails him out. Whereas, and let's be honest, it wasn't a perfect performance by Liverpool, and there were times you saw Van Dijk, you saw Gravenberch, you saw McAllister digging each other out and saying that's your man, that's what you've got to do, and it was covering the mates, but then almost like saying keep the standards high, because at the end of the day, and we saw it not long after the goal, Kev. City could still hurt you, and while they didn't have any chances, they kept the ball for a good 10-15 minutes, and then Liverpool were very organised, is sitting in the shape we're getting desperate to push them. They were just going, right, we'll look for a mistake now. We'll sit back. Basically what City used to do.
Yeah.
But
I mean,
that's where the anxiety when we came in at, it's only 1-0, which is like, at some point they're going to do something. Admittedly, it was more second half, but, that was the worry you had.
I'm just reading something here. On 21 minutes, right? This is what the stat that was put up. Liverpool have registered 7 shots, 4 on target, with 1 off the post, while producing an XG of 1.41 in the first 20 minutes of the game, right? Man City, for their part, have 0 in every single category. That is unheard of for a Man City 11. Full stop. It's the one thing that me and Gav were talking about in the preview. For all of the games that they've lost and the draw that they had and whatever, there were a constant goal threat in every single one. If that Spurs game had finished 4-4, there wouldn't have been an argument over it because of the amount of saves that Vicario had to make in that game, the amount of chances, the amount of times they hit the woodwork. We gave them the sweet sum of fuck all for the first 20-25 minutes of that game. And that is, I don't think we've ever done that to a Man City 11, ever.
Well, if you're into the stats, this will annoy some people, but we'll go with it. Liverpool's XG for the entire game was 3.53. City's was 0.8. That says Liverpool should have won by at least 3 or 4. So, by the quality of chances, and we'll talk about some of the chances we didn't take and did take.
Yeah.
Now, listen, having a penalty in there does almost add 1 goal onto it, but at the end of the day,
but even still, trust your eyes.
Trust your eyes. Like,
yeah. I haven't seen us play that well against anyone. I've seen us play like that against sides who you're expected to go and beat. But when you're playing against a side who are 4-time champions, who carry the threat that they do, and look, we all know the stuff that's going on behind the scenes with Man City, but at the end of the day, they're still the best side. They're still the biggest threat. They're the yardstick. For this league, they are the yardstick. They're the measuring stick that everyone is compared to, bar none. So
you go
to do that to them.
You go to every season saying, don't you? Finish above City, you generally will win.
You'll win the league. You'll win the league. I think that would be the same.
Unless you're really unlucky and another team has a storm result. But 9 times out of 10, your aim is beat City.
Yeah.
And you'll be okay.
I'm just looking here. Nunes was booked on 24 minutes. 32 minutes, Foden pulls Gravenberch back 2 ends. I thought Gravenberch got away with one.
He was cute with it, wasn't he? He definitely
was very cute with it. He caught him really early. I think Kavanagh missed that one. I mean, Neville was raving about it in the commentary, but that's one that I expected Gravenberch to get a booking on.
It's all right. He made up for it. He made up for it 2 minutes later and made sure he got it.
He made sure he got one on 36, bundled Gundogan over from well outside the box. And that was the one, I looked back at it. I was like, at the time, I thought you didn't need to foul him.
He looked like he was about to play it through to Haaland.
Yeah, there were 3v2 and the pass was on. So he took one there, and that's fair enough. That's only his 3rd yellow card of the season for someone who plays in that position is really, really good as well. So, it was like they had their first real chance on 39 minutes. It fell to Rico Lewis when he tried to... Robbo got criticism in the commentary for backing off. But when you look at it from the back angle, he blocked off half the goal by backing off. He only had one way to go, and Robertson's like, look, I trust Kelleher's behind me to cover that angle. So unless Lewis pins it right into the corner, you're just playing the odds there. And I think if Robertson comes out to press, he risks leaving a leg out like he did at Madrid, and he risks a 1-2 around him and a simple chance. So I think he's done the right thing.
I also think it's knowing your players as well. I think if that's Bernardo Silva or a Gundogan or a Haaland, maybe you do try and press them a bit closer because you're like, actually, they can put it anywhere.
Yeah, but a young, nimble player, you never know. He'll look to lay it off. So, no, I think he did the right thing. I know he got a bit of stick for it in the commentary and what have you, but no, I think he did the right thing there.
Yeah, I think so. So, Ashley, halftime, 1-0 up. All's good for the world. I think it was me being panicky, going. Only criticism is it's 1-0. And I'll be honest, if you're City, you're thinking, for Christ, it's only 1-0. I think City would have gone at halftime, made up, thinking we've got away, almost like saying we've got away with that. Now we can regroup. And as we saw as the second half started, let's be honest, first 15 minutes, City started really well and really was like the City you remember, dominating the ball, looking threatening out wide. Didn't create massive chances, though. That's one thing you would say. Liverpool did restrict them to the odd header or a shot from distance which was blocked. I thought Liverpool kept themselves compact, but it was the first 10, 15 minutes going like, can't get the ball from.
Yeah. There was definitely a period of control. And at some point, I don't know how much of that is, our team deciding, okay, we're just going to suck up pressure here and defend and let them have the ball. I don't know if that was the goal there or if it was truly City taking the reins. I mean, we all expected them to at least have some sort of response at halftime. But I think we were holding them at arm's length, to be honest. I think that, they didn't look particularly dangerous. I think when the subs came on and the pacey wingers came on, that was when I saw, a bit of a change with them getting the ball into our box. But up until then, I felt like it was just, you're just holding your hand out, just kind of keeping them where you want to. We weren't attacking with the same ferocity that we were in the first half, though. And I think that was making me a little bit nervous where, I felt like we needed that second goal. And I think that's where that feeling of, we're being dominated. But I don't know if we were, per se. I don't think they were like peppering our goal. Kelleher didn't have a ton to do.
No, obviously, I had the joys of Gary Neville's. And even he was begrudgingly complimentary at Liverpool, going, yeah, City got a lot of the ball, said, but Liverpool are controlling where it goes. So they're not bothered. If we're honest, Kev, the two best chances early in the first half were both Liverpool ones. One was Van Dijk's third headed attempt, which he puts just over, and then the one where, I'll be honest, and I could have put my foot through the telly. Mo Salah clean through, and honestly, you're just like all the way. We're going right. This will be 2-0. This will be secure and high, wide, handsome, a very Darwin Núñez style finish. You're like, oh bollocks.
Tell you what, if they somehow
Got one
take it back and they finished 1-1, we'd be fuming over that because that was as gilt-edged a chance. You put your Christmas wages on Salah finishing that. Do you know, you would. You walk into the bookies with your Christmas bonus and you'd be like, yeah, he's nailing that. And I'm going to have a lovely, happy New Year. And...
See, are you saying Mr. O'Sullivan's got no Christmas present now, not thanks to Mo Salah?
Oh no, she's done. She's done.
Okay, we don't need to start a GoFundMe for Kev.
It's done. Trust me. But no, it's
Kev.
No.
She's any more Santa things. We've already done that on a show last week.
She's actually gone to pick up her my mother-in-law from the airport. So I got my mom-in-law over for the week, so I'm looking forward to that. That should be a good laugh. But no, look,
I'm going to see my mother on next weekend, who's a big blue.
Listen, this one, he has to score. He just does, irrespective of the game, irrespective of the result. He has to finish that. He takes a little bit off. If he takes a little bit off of it, he just chips the keeper, and it's 2-0. Enjoy the rest of the game. But overall, listen, that second half, Man City had 66% of possession. All right, and bear in mind, we finished the game stronger. Their XG was 0.75. They had a total of 2 shots on target in the second half of a game where they had to win, where a draw was never enough. And you made a comment to us all in the group while the game was going on. And the more I think about it, think about because you're dead right.
It's one of these one times.
It's this side has learned to love defending again.
Yeah,
and the compactness, the organization. Yeah,
we had that in 1920.
And nothing signified it. I know I'll get ahead of it, but while it's fresh in my head,
Darwin
right at the death, Darwin at right back, putting a tackle in. Big fist pump into the crowd. Nothing signaled how much this squad want this more.
You saw Van Dijk's reaction as soon as because Van Dijk had just a minute earlier put a very good tackle, which if he missed times is a penalty. And then he comes straight to Darwin. He does the exact same tackle, and he gets, and literally it is like the high five of Van Dijk. Like that's what you need to do. It's now not about trying to get a clever goal or do something fancy. It's the dirty work and throwing the dirty work in. And to be fair to Darwin, that's a side of his game he's actually always, to be fair, embraced. He's always embraced doing the dirty work. Is that his all-round game's actually got a lot better. It's still the finishing criticism, but we'll come to Darwin because I thought he was very effective when he came on as a sub. So they brought on Doku and Savinho for the two of lads, and you're like, okay, fine. I think Savinho barely touched the ball. I don't think they got him in the game, but they kept giving the ball to Doku. And I'm going to say it out now. He is the City version of Adama Traore. He's all pace. He occasionally beats a man and puts it in the stand. Beats the man, puts it into a post. For me, he has so little end product. He's so not a City winger. When they had, and look, he's not the player he was, but Sterling for City was dangerous. Mahrez for City, they're the wingers you think of when you think of a City winger. Who could do all the tricks, do all the pace,
but they can score.
Killer, absolute killer. You're like, fucking hell. It's like, when City used to bring Mahrez on, you used to go, oh shit, something's going to happen. He's going to do something. He always would. I just don't see it with Doku. Savinho, I think you can see what he looks more like a Leroy Sané type. You look at him and go, I can see what he could be, but he's still very young.
I don't. I look at him and I see him as...
I had brought Grealish on before I brought Doku on.
Yeah, I couldn't believe it. I was like, you're bringing on these two tricksters, and yeah, they can beat that. They can beat a man. But if they played for anyone else, they'd be compared to Anthony. They've got all the skill in the world. They can go past the player, but they go past the guy, and then they want to go back and beat him again and try and beat him a third time for kicks. It's like they've got no football intelligence whatsoever. And neither of them look like they can score a goal. I didn't realize Erling Haaland is the only player to score in the Premier League for Man City this season. We're 13 games in.
12 goals he's on, isn't he?
Gvardiol has scored.
Gvardiol's got
not in the Premier League.
Are you
I
sure?
thought he had got one in the
Nope,
Premier League.
not in the Premier League. Apparently, it was a stat they were giving out.
I know Guardiola's
during-
second goal scorer. I know that much. So
No, but during the half time, because they had to double check it, the Erling Haaland was the only scorer for Man City in the Premier League this season with 13 goals.
That's wild if that's true. I mean, they obviously he covers so many cracks, and I wouldn't be surprised if it's true. I mean, for some reason I feel like,
Well, if they got it,
That's
if they got it wrong, if they got it wrong, it's Sky's mistake, not mine. So it's cancel your subscription and do what you got to do. But I'm just having a look there to see where are the table. Premier League. All right, Man City have scored 22 goals, conceded 19. Haaland is on 13 league goals, so obviously someone else has scored more. But they might have been talking about players from the starting 11 that started today.
it could.
But every which way you look at it, if you look at Man City's forwards of years gone by, everyone contributed. Everybody contributed goals, whether it was from midfield, whether it was the wingers, the centre backs would chip in from corners. It's all on Erling Haaland's shoulders. Erling Haaland touched the ball today 16 times in 97 minutes of football. He touched the ball 16 times.
Well, yeah, Sky got it.
What an effort by us!
Sky
That's
got
all us.
But all the other goal scorers for City didn't start today.
Yeah.
Yeah, so you've got the other goal scorers for this season. De Bruyne has 1. Doku has 1. Stones has 2. Kovacic has 3. And Gvardiol has 3. And then you jump up to Haaland at 12.
Yeah, it's
which is mad at it.
Ridiculous, isn't it? And in fairness, when you factor in how good Phil Foden is, Phil Foden hasn't scored a goal yet in the Premier League this season. That's crazy.
And he went through a stage where he always scored against Liverpool. He did have that stage where every time they start, oh no, he'd always get. He's always a bracket.
He had a stage where he was like our little demon, like
Yeah.
I think he still is. Don't get me wrong. I think he still is. It's just that at the minute, and look, as much as it pains me, no side has ever done 5 in a row in Premier League era. So it's not it shouldn't be a massive shock that, given the transfer business they did in the summer, that they haven't been able to go again. But even still, seeing it in real time, bearing in mind the reputation and the aura that Guardiola has as a coach, it's still weird watching this. It's like, I don't think anyone. I thought
he looks.
If anyone, yeah, he does.
He looks a bit lost. Because it is. I mean, it's the worst run he's ever been on as a manager. So you would look a bit lost when you've never experienced this level of defeats and draws before. But yeah, I don't know. His body language doesn't inspire confidence, does it? So, but then actually, we bring on a couple of subs. Gakpo gets a standing ovation. Darwin Núñez comes on, which it felt like we needed something different to come on, just because City were dominating the ball. And Gerald Quansah came on for Trent, which we kind of all. Gary Neville may not realise this because he definitely didn't realise it in our comms. Trent's just come back from a hamstring injury, so he's never going to play a full game. So hey, guess what? It's a pre-arranged sub. Probably the only thing that wasn't pre-arranged. Oh, sorry, it was pre-arranged. We didn't think it was. Gomez stayed at centre back, and Quansah went right back.
I didn't hate it.
He played really well. But if you said to me, the coming out going, "Oh, Gomez goes to right back, Quansah goes to centre back," that's the routine we've always seen. You're like, "Oh no, Quansah's staying right back," and he did really well.
And I think what that tells you, or at least what it tells me, is that he's going to lock that down as a center back partnership until Ibu comes back. I think he's going to want to build up some rhythm between Gomez and Virgil and have that be a thing, and have Quansah be that supplementary defender that needs whenever he wants to come on. Because I mean, Quansah's got the skill set for it, but I think what has stood us in good stead so far is locking down that center back partnership. And if Ibu's going to be out for the next month, I think this is Joe Gomez's chance to step up, and he's more than capable of doing that. So I don't know. That's what I took from that. And then it's kind of like a similar scenario where, I think he's going to want the players to have a position that's locked down, kind of like with Gakpo staying wide out left, where that's his position. So yeah, interesting, unexpected, but interesting.
I mean, Kev, while we're on the subject of Joe Gomez, all you could say is he didn't miss Ubu, and that's a massive compliment to Joe Gomez, because Ibu Konate has been the Ibu Konate we saw a couple of years ago. You're like, and let's be honest, we're all a bit concerned, going that's a big player to lose.
Mm-hmm.
Honestly, it's like Joe Gomez has been playing there all season, and you wouldn't think that was his first Premier League start of the season.
No, you wouldn't. Joe was outstanding. Composure on the ball. I think they were all under the impression today that he might be a weak link. His pace has always been there, but his composure on the ball and his passing range today stood out. Wasn't afraid to play the raking crossfield pass. The fact that he's been doing that from fullback, you always know that he's got that in his locker now.
Mm.
But if there was any doubt, any danger, or any risk of putting the ball in through midfield, straight back to Kelleher, out the other side. The one thing that City did do is they blocked off the route to Van Dijk during the goal kicks very quickly. They would not let the ball go to Van Dijk for Van Dijk to play the over-the-top ball into Salah at all. They shut that down really, really early. So it was all on Joe Gomez and Trent from that side to be the outlet. And there was a few times that they were able to play it into midfield and a quick 1-2 in the middle of the park, and you were in. There was a couple of ones, I think McAllister played off of with Szoboszlai, and you could see the taking the ball in the half turn and moving. It was effortless for him, but you could tell they've worked on it. It's the patterns of play that they're working on of who to be, where, and when. But yeah, Joe Gomez today, considering I don't think he's played 90 minutes in the league this season.
No, he hasn't.
No,
but he was immaculate when he came on as that sub.
Yeah. And the other thing with Gerald Quansah going on at right back, the amount of times that Kelleher or Gomez was on the ball, and Gerald Quansah was on his bike. He was gone. Didn't matter what minute of the game it was.
He wasn't playing like you see centre-backs playing full-back going, I'm here to do a job and just tucking in and keeping it tight. He's like, I'm off, lads. It was very it was like watching Joe Matter. It was like watching Joe Matter down the wing. It was brilliant.
He's like, I'm on my jollies here, lads. Just confine me with the ball there, and I'm gonna run at the fullback. I'm loving life.
I suppose I've slaughtered Doku. He didn't get Doku much change, and Doku's quick. And the one thing you would say of Quansah, he's not slow, but he's not the quickest.
No, he played right back before Quansah. He was a right back in like youth soccer or youth football. Oh my God, Freudian slip.
Trust the process.
I'm sorry. But he was a right back, so it's not completely foreign to him.
No, but the other side of it is the fact that he's 6'3", 6'4". He's got long levers to be able to make up the ground, and he's a big unit to get around. The amount of clubs who are playing a centre back out at full back who's comfortable on Ibu played for a good while at Leipzig as a right back. With Mukiele was there at the time, and they used to swap between the two, as to who would go out and play at fullback. And it's like, I just look at it with that as an option. It's a nice thing to be able to do and to have the comfort and the confidence to be able to do it. Because look, 10 minutes to go. If they get one, they get, the nerves set in, the vibe goes around the ground, and you're holding on a bit. But no, he was excellent, and I think the confidence you'll get from that, because look, with the injuries that we've picked up over the last 7 days, Gerald Quansah and Joe Gomez are going to be huge.
We've got five defenders, and
exactly
probably for the whole Christmas period. The only hope is the talk was Simicast was a roll his ankle. He might be back in a week or so, but he's in a moon boot at the moment, which is slightly concerning.
Yeah,
I mean the hope is other side of the derby, you have Simicast back as the left back option. So at least then that would free as a rotation option there. Ashley's getting some absolute
I'm sorry.
pelters in the chat.
Do you know how hard it is to constantly make sure that I use the right word for it.
Yeah.
I mean, I'll be honest, Ashley. It's not as bad as you trust the process. That's still.
No,
I
in
didn't say trust
fairness,
the process.
That's
I said
that's not
enjoy
that's not
the
being
process.
that's
I
not getting.
didn't. Kev misquoted me.
I did.
And
I
he
did.
made
I
me
hold
look
my
like an
hand
idiot.
up. I didn't mean it, honestly.
Oh
But
gosh.
Kev, it's normally me that's the shit stirrer.
You know what,
out of
guys?
us two,
I'm
so I'm
on
quite glad. This.
vacation. Like my brain is elsewhere. I'm just glad that I'm here.
let's talk about the penalty then.
Yeah. So, Darwin was excellent. When he came on, he had the one chance early on where he cut inside and looked for the pass. He hassled the life out of Diaz, who tried to claim it was a free kick. It wasn't. It was a perfectly legitimate tackle. And then Luis Diaz, who, let's be honest, as a number 9, fed on scraps, ran his bollocks off, got through. Mo does well because Mo realizes he's offside and pulls himself away, thinking, so I can't be done for interfering with play. I was like, Ortega, I don't know where he was going. It just decided it was the most stonewall penalty I've ever seen in my life. And they were trying to claim, City were trying to claim it was outside the box, which is Kev rightly pointed out to us. That's fine, because outside the box is off. So which one do you want? So
Yeah.
it's the most nailed on pen you've ever seen in your life.
Yeah, it's it was the hard work of fresh player coming on. The energy of a fresh player coming on that created the chance. But yeah, I was looking at it and when I very first saw it, I thought that's close to the line. And if he's outside the box, it's a red card. It's inside the box, it's pen. Because he nailed on, cleaned them out. It wasn't until I'd seen the replay that he was a mile inside the box. It was a stonewall pen. But after Salah's missed the other night, it was like
I told you, Kev, miss it against Madrid when you're winning, box it against it.
But look, the miss against Madrid, he horrendously miskicked it. Miskicked it. But that you don't often see Salah taking a penalty low and to the opposite side. You know, that was a different. You don't often see that one. But the power that was on it, because Ortega went the right way, and if there was even if it was less power, I think Ortega gets it. The power and the accuracy, the precision on that penalty was perfect. You know, it was, bang, have that 2-0. And then it was like you can breathe and relax. Because look, at 1-0, there's always the chance. Even if they get one ball into Haaland, and they tried it a few times, going direct to Haaland, and Virgil pulled off one of the absolute best interceptions I've seen this season.
He was imperious, and he is always imperious against Haaland.
Oh yeah,
always.
But the other one where he got kind of almost Van Bastened it, tried to take it on his foot in the air, and he was very close to it. But other than that, nothing. But at 1-0, you never know. At 2-0, you can relax. And it was literally a case that went in 2-0, and we literally just enjoyed the rest of it. It got to a point towards the end of the game where we were taking the piss out of them.
There were some olays at the end that was fantastic.
Yeah. Anfield was raucous today. Anfield was really
they got a reaction out of Peps saying you're getting sacked in the morning, and Pep put his 6 fingers up. I assume that's for the, as you said, Kev, for 6 European Cups he was talking about. But just like Anfield does get under Pep's skin. He just doesn't like going to Anfield. He really doesn't like it.
Do you know what it is? I think, and I've got a theory with this. I think, and I believe this to be true. He's like Jose. They wish they were our manager. I honestly believe that Pep Guardiola would have loved to manage Liverpool.
I think that he always wanted to be lauded and praised the way that Klopp and I think that
never get
he knows they're like, if we're gonna call
I know this won't be a popular opinion because it's a Liverpool podcast. If he'd gone to Man United and won stuff from Man United, he'd get that adulation. Because
absolutely.
As much as we dislike Man United, they have got that similar sort of feeling about them, which is why it's so funny that the shit at the moment.
Yeah, but it's like, but you go from Barcelona, and winning at Barcelona when you're competing against Real Madrid is one thing, okay? You go to Bayern Munich, and he did what he was expected to do. Yes, he won in Europe, fine. But you come into Man City, and it's literally As Mourinho put it in an interview once, I don't like the fullbacks I have. Sign me 4 more. The keeper that I brought in, I don't like. Bring me a new keeper. This player I don't like. Bring me 2 more. You know, that doesn't wash in normal football anywhere else.
No.
And for that reason alone, he will never get the respect that an Alex Ferguson gets, even if he ever matched or surpassed what a Ferguson did. You know, he will never get that respect from football fans outside of Man City. And the amount of football fans outside of Man City are far and away a bigger number than the Man City supporter base that's in football at the minute, because they are a mid-table to yo-yo club. That's all they are. They're the second team in Manchester. They're a yo-yo club who got the lotto ticket and won.
And I think you can see
that's all they are.
You can see now, like, I don't think anyone is going to come on here and say that Pep's not a good coach. He's a fantastic coach.
Oh, he is.
But I think what you're seeing now is what happens when you don't have all those resources at your disposal. And you have to find those answers from within the squad, or you have to kind of shoehorn players in that you wouldn't normally shoehorn in, or bring in academy players that you wouldn't normally trust. And I think that you're seeing Pep struggle. And it's probably not the only reason that they are where they are, but I think that it's one of the reasons. I think that this is a major challenge for him as a coach. And it's up to him whether or not he wants to rise to that occasion, because those are the things that Klopp did that made him great, at least to us in our eyes. And I don't really care what other fans think, but if you look back to Klopp's great periods, even just winning the Carabao Cup last year with all of those kids, that's an amazing achievement. I don't think Pep can do that. And so it's up to him if he wants to raise his game and try.
I mean, as much as we don't want to talk about them, look at some of the titles Man United won with Ferguson. Look at the team he won his last title with. We saw the year after. It was an average Man United squad. It will never go down as a great Man United squad. But he got that squad over the line. Even he got to a Champions League final without his 2 starting centre mids in Keane and Scholes. He had to play a Nicky Butt and convert David Beckham from a right winger to a centre mid, which at the time wasn't really a done thing. So that's why those sort of managers are lauded a bit more, because they can do it when it's not always ideal.
Yeah, 100%.
And I think that's where it goes against it. Speaking of not ideal, Mr. Van Dijk was Mr. Van Dijk, apart from one moment where he had a complete brain fart and De Bruyne was clean through. He thought, oh, fucking hell. And De Bruyne absolutely shit himself when Keller came out and he just sat in it. And my wife, who doesn't really watch football, has no real interest in football, said, "Have you seen Captain America?" When I said, "It's like when he jumps on the grenade halfway through the film." There's a very niche reference, and I was like, "It is just like that." Yeah, that was it. That was the only thing I remember Keller doing the whole game, which was sitting on the ball in front of De Bruyne. That was it.
Yeah,
and
that's what he did.
That's what he's there for. He's there for the
don't
one brain fart that we have.
Don't call Roy Keane on me. That's his job.
But I'll tell you one thing: his distribution was very good. He's very calm and assured on the ball, and aware of his surroundings at all times. It must be really difficult to be a goalkeeper in these type of games against a quality opponent, where danger could happen at any minute, and he was just on it. I mean, it was a silly mistake from Van Dijk. Tried to do a Cruyff turn and got it completely wrong. And as you say, De Bruyne was cold onto the pitch and just didn't sniff it out. The biggest worry I had with that was De Bruyne flick it to the side and Kelleher bring him down into the pen. But look,
Kelleher and pens. I mean, maybe it's not such a bad.
Maybe it wouldn't. Yeah, it wouldn't have been.
It caught it anyway.
Yeah.
But overall,
if that was the worst that we faced, I think.
Yeah, but that was it. It's like we coasted the last 10 minutes. We worked our socks off. The fullback. I was only joking about Quansah being on his bike. The work that the fullbacks did. When they brought on the 2 wingers, they were going to be tested 1v1, and they stood up to it, and they were backed up as well. So off the ball, the running that we did today, brilliant. You know, it was an outstanding team performance and thoroughly deserved 2-0 win. But in truth, it really should have been 4. And maybe even more. It should have been 4. And that's not, I mean, Van Dijk should have finished.
Half performance.
Yeah, Van Dijk should have finished one of those chances from the seven. But I think the one he saw all the way, he'll be disappointed he didn't get that one on target. And Salah
it's the Mo Salah one for me.
Yeah,
but
that one's unbelievable.
That being said, it was another example of Salah not letting that miss go to his head because he could have quite easily.
He never does, to be fair.
He never does, which is part of what makes him so fantastic. But that's what I was thinking with the penalty, having just missed a penalty as well. You know, that takes a lot of mental fortitude.
Yeah. Speaking of mental fortitude, I was nearly making Matt so proud because he thought I was about to transition into a really good talk about our charities. And I was like, oh, that would have been a great transition. I just need to work on that. But David Mathis in the chat has gifted 5 Talkin Kop memberships. So get them while you can. You get a free membership for a month then, which would be quality. And then you get to listen to us 3 all the time, including our member shows, which are always good fun. So, but also, jokes aside, let's talk about charity. So we're still trying to raise money for our 2 charities, which is the Lighthouse Cafe in Dublin and Fan Supporting Food Banks in Liverpool. The aim is to get to €10,000, and we'll split it 50-50 between the 2 charities. So listen, if you can't give, please share it around social media, WhatsApp groups, because this is the time of year when these sort of charities really need your help. It's gonna get cold, and people shouldn't be hungry. Well, they shouldn't be hungry, full stop. It's 2024. We shouldn't have to have this as a problem. But this time of year, it's cold. The least we could do is try and raise money to help give people food over Christmas time, and just help families out. So please do what you can, and we'll go from there. So after that, the crowd. There's been a lot of crowd chat this season, hasn't there, Ashley, about, what's the atmosphere like, yada, yada, yada. And I think a lot of it is a lot of hot air and hype by people who just want something to moan about. Because I've got family members who have been on the Kop in the 80s and 70s, and they will tell you this has always been a moan. And when you're playing bottom of the league at home, the atmosphere is shit because people just want the game done. This is when you see the impact of a crowd. It's the big games. It's the moments we need it. And I thought the crowd was excellent for that, especially for the first 15 minutes of the second half, where City had the ball a lot and was raging and making it a hostile atmosphere. And I thought that helped.
Yeah, I think it was the Anfield Wrap that made a really good point where they said that the Anfield atmosphere is not a soundtrack. It's not a chorus of people that are there constantly. They react when the team needs them, and then there are periods of natural lulls and natural highs. It's not something that's pumped in by the television broadcasters. It's a real living, breathing thing, and it will change. And I think what you're seeing this week is how I actually appreciate that, there are highs and lows, and how when the team needs it, Anfield really steps up. And you saw that in the Madrid game, and you saw it today. You saw the crowd absolutely get fired up and drag the team along when they needed it. But I do think that it's just a moan for a moan's sake, because I think that if you go to any of the other stadiums, they're all going to have, highs and lows. And I doubt any of them are as good as Anfield. I mean, if you talk to any player or you're interviewing any player, they're all saying Anfield is the atmosphere that they most fear. So I don't know. I think people need to give it a rest with the atmosphere thing. I think our fans are absolutely incredible.
Yeah. So, Kev, I'm going to make a decision. I think we should have a new feature on the show. I think I've just created it. I think we call it Ashley Talks About. And I think this is where we let Ashley do all the quotes. We have the Ashley Talk bit where Ashley can read all the quotes off, because to be fair, Ashley does all the hard work for this.
I feel like Matt is way better at the quotes, actually reading them. But,
but me and Kev aren't. So that's why we're giving it to you.
Hopeless.
So, plus to be fair, Ashley,
I'm doing my best because I'm using my phone, so I'll do my best.
You do the hard work. I'm going to get a beer.
Okay.
Yeah, you do all the hard work.
Sounds like a fair trade-off.
Yeah, I think you've been diddled there, Ashley.
Oh, gosh. Okay, so there were a few post-match interviews. There was Mo and Virgil at the end. Mo was obviously asked about his contract, which unfortunately is something that we'll have to talk about. So he said, honestly, it is in my head. Until now, this is the last City game I will play for Liverpool. So I was just going to enjoy it. And he said this kind of like he was prodded by the reporter. He didn't bring this up on his own like last week or like the other game. So,
but also it's also a bit of common sense as well. Until he signs a new contract, it will be.
Yeah. So he continued. He talked about the atmosphere being incredible. He is going to enjoy every second here. Hopefully we just win the league and we will see what happens. He was, like I said, he was pretty relaxed about it in the interview. I watched it myself before coming on here, so I wouldn't read too much into it. On Anfield, he said, it's very special. I don't take it for granted. I'm enjoying every minute here. It feels like home. It's always special feeling, always scoring at Anfield and winning games.
which is why I still think this deal gets done.
Like I said, I wouldn't read too much in this. This was pulled out by a reporter. Virgil was asked afterwards. He said, I think City's a fantastic team, 4-time champions in a row. They have the quality to punish any team, but I think we were solid defensively and had great chances, but we could have scored more, which I think we all agree with. He continued, because the interviewer had asked, how do you feel about being 11 points clear? His response was, we focus on the next game. That's the only thing that we can do. There's no point at this stage of the season to get ahead of ourselves, which is kind of the party line that you heard from Hendo. It's sort of a continuation of that. So Slot's post-match quotes afterwards, he said, yeah, if you look at the work rate, I think it was perfect. The amount of chances we missed made it tight at the end, but it would have been nicer to score the second goal earlier. And I think we'd all agree with that as well.
Yeah.
He continued, we always press high, but they're so good at build-up. So you have to work very hard. Our players had energy. Apart from our players, the crowd was fantastic today as well. He continued, we are a compatible team and it's difficult to beat us, but also we have to put the effort in. But we have injuries. We had to take Trent off. It would have been a risk. The quote continues, these are the challenges we face at the moment, but every team has to face these challenges over a season. He went on to say, if you want to win against City, you have to be perfect in every part of the game. We weren't perfect, but we came close to perfection. That is the only way to beat City. He continued, next week is another big week against Newcastle and Everton. Ideally, I would have loved to have seen the second half being the same as the first half, but the quality of the other team. I don't think anyone, including me, would have predicted this start. I knew Jurgen left a team in a good place, but still, against all of the teams that we have played. And then Guardiola was interviewed post-match about our crowd, and he said, sacked in the morning chants, maybe they're right with the results that we've been having. I didn't expect that at Anfield. And he continued. I don't know.
I didn't see that one, sorry.
It's all right. He continued and basically was just saying, I wouldn't have expected that from the Anfield crowd. I thought they would have been better than that. But, just Pep being snarky.
Excellent. Which is what we always like, isn't it? That's what we want.
Obviously we got in his head, so.
Okay. So, Kev, usual feature. Man of the match, honourable mention, could do better.
Right. And I'm having it as well because Gary Neville's a twat.
Is that could do better, or is that in the which one's?
No, I don't think he can do better. I think he's just it comes naturally to him. He's just so good at it. No, Virgil van Dijk is the man of the match. The way he managed and marshalled that back line, he was outstanding from start to finish. Should have scored a couple. Definitely scored one. Could have had two, but he literally gave Erling Haaland nothing. Haaland, that surprised me that he started. I know why he did it. He started on Van Dijk's side, looking to run into the space in behind Joe Gomez, but he gave Erling Haaland absolutely nothing, not a sniff, and that's as good a performance as I've seen Virgil put down this season by a comfortable distance. He was brilliant. Honourable mention. Alexis McAllister, actually. I thought very neat and tidy in the middle of the park, but when he got the chance to get on the ball and to carry it and relieve pressure, he was always looking to be that option. And his second man press today was really up to the mark. So he was very good. Could do better. think it's harsh on Salah that, goal and assist, the assist for the cross is absolutely world class, but he really should be tucking that chance away.
Oh, Kev, come on.
He should be. Come on. Let's call it as it is. If you're going to be honest, you got to be honest. And then, you can say it after winning 2-0. If you lose, you sound like you're bitching. But if you're winning, mate, I'd fancy tucking that away. I'd even bet you would.
I'll forgive him. I'll forgive him.
Not with my left foot, honestly. I can barely stand on it.
No, you have to be scoring that.
I would have been much more upset with him if he hadn't scored the penalty. So I will forgive him.
Yeah, redeeming features.
Exactly.
Go on, then, Ashley. What's your three?
All right. I think the correct answer is Virgil. But so as not to, overpraise or copy Kev, I'm going to give it to Szoboszlai because I just think that the energy that he had throughout the game really set the tone for the rest of the team. And I think that a lot of Szoboszlai's work is sort of unsung hero work where he's not always getting a goal, but I think that he was the one that kept that engine ticking over, and the amount of running that he did, I think, was spectacular. So I will give him the man of the match, even though I do think it's Virgil first. Let's see, honorable mention. Grinchy Kev. Yeah.
Sorry, Dave's just put in the chat. This time of year, it's called Grinchy Kev.
Well, I'm going to make Grinchy Kev more upset because I'm going to give my honorable mention to Mo Salah because even though he missed that goal, which absolutely should have been put away, he is still that guy that's putting the points on the board. And, we will miss him when he's gone. I don't know when that's going to be. And I just think that having the mentality that I talked about earlier in the show to just be able to put that miss out of his head and, have a high pressure penalty scored in the emphatic way that he did, credit where credit is due there. Could do better. I think the team as a whole was a fantastic performance, and I actually don't want to single anyone else out.
It doesn't have to be Liverpool. It doesn't have to be Liverpool.
Well, that's what I'm going to say. You're going to take away my thunder. Jeez,
I'm taking her thunder away.
Is Pep with his mental health because I think he's going to lose it. I think he's going to lose his mind. I think him holding up his little fingers to the crowd is the most petulant thing that I've seen so far this season. So he's could do better.
Cool. Okay, so I think the right answer is VVD, but I'll give it Ryan Gravenberch because he's playing like the 6 we all want, and it's 13 games in now. We've done Arsenal, we've done City. The only recognised top 6 side he hasn't played against yet is Spurs, and he got an early booking, so I thought he did well. I think Szoboszlai's a good shout, though, I'll put him as honourable mention because I thought he worked his arse off, but the criticism of Szoboszlai has always been his use of the ball when he gets it, and I actually thought his use of the ball today was excellent. Could do better. It's a toss-up between Gary Neville and Bernardo Silva. Gary Neville who just tries to cry anything in, and Bernardo Silva who tried to be a wind-up merchant and just realised he went to square up to Mo Salah and shit the bed and realised Mo Salah was quite big, and he walked away. He's a shadow of what he used to be. So he's now just a little kick merchant. So good fun.
That was a good. I really enjoyed that actually. I enjoyed Salah getting in his face. I feel like so often it's been the other way around, and I don't really see Salah getting like a little bit aggressive. And I feel like him getting in his face. I don't know what he said.
When he got aggressive, he started smiling. Then went,
"Oh no, it was great."
That's what you look at.
I don't care. Fantastic. I don't know what he said, but throw it in the comment section what you think Mo Salah said to that little rat.
Cool. Claire's put man of the match, Gomez and VVD. I mean, to be fair, Joe Gomez, we've already said, was seamless. And Claire said honourable mention Trent. Yeah, I mean, Trent's first start.
Trent did well.
Since injury and did well defensively. To be fair, defensively all season. He's been very good. So it's almost like he actually was a good defender and people forgot. But,
I do think he's actually improved a little bit with Slot. I think his defending has improved, and I think he's asked. I think
he's asked to do less as well. I do think he's asked to do lots of the invert right. It's like no, you got to be a right back. You will occasionally invert depending who we're playing, but generally stick to the right back role, and he's very very good at it. Match Apple's right. Creed didn't put a foot wrong. Virtual owes him a pint. Yeah, it's not won't be the first time. Yeah. So cool. So in terms of the best part of this, Kev, is as what reaction does this win have on rivals? Let's be honest, Arsenal, who are very loud and are very gobby, and are saying they've seen chinks in Liverpool. We've already had Peps, not Pep, Arteta, who's like mini Pep, say it doesn't matter being top this time. It's where you are in May, which I thought, well, you should know, mate, because it's the last 2 years you've done that. This is if we were in Arsenal's boots, you'd be desperate for City to get something today.
Yeah,
and the fact Liverpool have won comfortably, that's got to be a bit of a kick in the bollocks.
Yeah, there's certain games in the season where you look out for. If someone is running away with it, then it's any game against a top 4 side and any game that's a tough away fixture. For us, Newcastle
The next
away.
Next two are tough.
Yeah, next 2 away, Newcastle and Everton away. You're looking for anything to come out of that. Arsenal, in all honesty, if they can keep their best 11 on the pitch for a long period of time, they'll pick up wins, and they're not going to go away. They're a tough side to beat. They score goals for fun. You've seen that yesterday with their 5-2 win. Despite some of the decisions in that game, but they're not. Say they're not going to go away. They'll win enough games, but they're not going to be able to keep their core together on the pitch for the rest of this season. There's just way too much football going on, and he's flogged them to win an inch of their life over the last 2 years just to try to maintain the pace with City as it was. Chelsea are the unknown quantity in all of this because they're a very young squad, still learning together and still evolving. So we don't know what they're going to do. The question really becomes, are we going to drop 4 losses, and are they going to be able to catch us? If we drop 4 games. But if we drop 4 games, are they good enough to be perfect? And I don't think either of them are. I think today should have put paid to City. 11 points is just too big an ask, irrespective of what Man City side, from the past was there. It's not. That Man City side is a shell of its former self. They look mentally fragile and they just don't look right. The other side, who's in 4th, Brighton. Look, Brighton would be quite happy to finish anywhere near around the Europa League spots. They'll be delighted with that.
Yeah, Brighton's issue is they've actually been dropping points in games you wouldn't expect them to. Drawing with Southampton, losing to Wolves. They're the sort of results you don't really expect. They're actually the games you expect them to win. And that seems to catch up with Brighton. Chelsea are the unknown quantity. The only thing with Chelsea is it the squad probably just a little bit too young yet for it, possibly. But I do think if he keeps that squad together, that squad's going to be a problem in the next year or two because they're all on 8-year contracts.
For days.
And also, they're on 8-year contracts, so who's buying them? No one's buying them.
Exactly. They'll be around for a while. They're not going to go away anytime soon. But it's at the stage at the minute where we look after our own business and let the rest of them get a crick in their neck looking up, because that's at this stage of the season, 13 games gone. We're over a third of the way through the season now, and that's a 9-point gap. That is
it's only the 4th time ever that there's been that big of a gap at this stage. And I won't jinx it by saying what happened.
We know
what happened with the rest.
But in fairness, that's what should happen. You should be going on to win the title from here. If we don't go on and win the title from here, there's been a major, major, major problem. We're 9 points clear. We've played virtually everyone, bar Spurs and Newcastle and Everton. That you'd expect to be able to give you real problems. So as it stands at the minute, I've said it before. I don't think Arsenal are good enough to catch us. And after seeing City today, they're definitely not good enough to catch us. The only way we don't win the title from here is if we somehow blow it.
Yeah, there is that. I mean, put it this way, for Arsenal to get to 90 points now, they've got to go at a rate that we've got up for the first 13 games. They've got to do that for the remainder of the season. Go up 2.6 points a game, which is pretty much
We know
win
how
9 out
hard
of
that
10 every till the end of the season. That's a tough run.
Yeah.
Are they capable of it? Potentially, yeah. We've seen them go on long runs before, and
But they do
I
come
do
to
think
Anfield, which
Yeah,
is another kind of, back pocket
Yeah.
card that you could pull.
I think if we are still 9 points ahead of whoever's second by New Year's Day, I think that will have it done then.
I'd like to
'Cause-
hope so. I mean, I
'cause
think everyone's just trying to stay
Yeah,
conservative because nobody wants to get hurt in this situation. But at the same time, you need to be able to enjoy it.
I mean, to put it into context, when we last won the league in 1920, when we beat Leicester, we went 13 points clear at the top of the league. That was Christmas time. So if you get anything close to that by Boxing Day, you know the run. You know what's to come then. And Liverpool touch wood, probably aren't going to have to play any European games until March, because we're probably going to not have to do the playoff stuff, which Arsenal probably won't have to, but City are definitely not looking certain to not have to do a playoff as well, which is something else they could do without, really. So anyway, so tonight at 10, it's I think it's just Gav and Matt on the fat back four, so it's
entertaining.
So that could be entertaining. What could go wrong? And then look, hit the bell icon, subscribe, all that good stuff. We'll have shows for days, for the rest of the week. We're back on. Us three are back Wednesday for post-match reaction with Newcastle, and I'm sure we'll do a preview show as well. We may even have Matt. We might let Matt back. We haven't decided yet.
He might come out eventually.
He might come out eventually, But until then, enjoy the rest of your Sunday. Hopefully, we'll see a lot of you at 10 o'clock. But it finished Liverpool 2, Man City 0. Liverpool are 9 points at the top of the league. Let's keep it going, lads. There is a Premier League to win here.